everybody.
Hey, Dee, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you guys doing?
Hey guys.
Good.
Jimmy.
You okay?
How we doing?
See you.
Good, how are you?
How are you?
Okay. Good.
Well, guys, we're really excited about camp this year. I mean, as you can tell, the excitement here is at an all-time high for us. We tried to really create a great fan experience, and we've had great weather, and we're just really pumped up about the players that are here and the coaching staff. I think you can feel the energy. So excited to be here.
All right.
You guys ready to guarantee or to predict a playoff spot like some of your players are? At least one has.
I think we would echo Coach Jackson's comments. We're excited to see their excitement, their optimism, but a long way to go and a lot of work to do.
Jimmy, can we get started with the whole Josh Gordon situation
Sure.
here? What is your view of what's going on with Josh right now, and what are your hopes and thoughts about having him back here?
I think it's consistent throughout the organization. I think, excuse me, John and Hugh have answered this question. Dee and I talk about it a lot. First of all, we're interested in Josh the person. We respect his privacy, and until Josh gets back to camp, we're going to focus on the players that are here.
And where do you stand on Des Bryant? Because there's been a lot of talk about trying to set up a time when he could be here for a visit.
Yeah, that's really a question for John. I think what you see out of John and his group are they're continually looking to make the team better. And we're talking to a lot of people. We're working guys out. There were two guys working out earlier today, and we're going to continue to, whether it's our ninth offensive lineman or a former star receiver for another team, we're going to continue to look at any and everybody we can to make our team better. I don't think Dee and I are ever going to comment on individual players we may or may not be looking at, but John is working hard to make the team better every single day.
From your perspective, just in general, how do you balance talent with how a player will affect the culture?
We talk about that a lot organizationally, and John, Hugh, Dee, myself, the coaches, some of our personnel groups will have a thorough discussion of the players' ability as well as any off-field issues there may or may not be and how they fit into our chemistry and culture. And, between our staff and our personnel group, they know a lot of people around the league, so I think we can do pretty good background checks. And I think you all know this, been around the game a long time. Not everybody is as advertised, either good or bad. And it's our personnel's group and our coaching group to do a good job checking these players' background.
Is it your understanding that Josh, I saw this written somewhere, is why I'm asking, that Josh has to actually apply for reinstatement to you guys in writing, and then Roger Goodell has to approve it?
I really don't want to comment on that. I mean, like I said, we're focused on hoping Josh gets better, respecting his privacy. At the same time, we've got a lot of good football players here that we're anxious to see this afternoon.
What have you seen in him that puts you that you're not at the breaking point with him? I mean, what trust? What do you base your trust on?
This is a difficult situation. Josh has clearly struggled with addiction. He would tell you that over a long period of time. I think we saw a different Josh Gordon here in the spring, and during workouts, he's working hard, and we're going to continue to work with the person and try to help him out both personally and professionally until it doesn't make sense.
How was he different in the spring from time to time?
I think work ethic, attitude, what he was doing off the field. And I actually think that's enough talk on Josh. I mean, I know he's a star player and attracts a lot of attention, et cetera, but on the other hand, we've got 88 guys, I think, in camp, and I think we need to focus on them for now.
Jimmy, we're going to touch on, and Dee as well if you want, the challenge to put the past behind you guys, the difficulty winning since you guys have taken over, certainly been there every year. Could you just touch on what you guys have done as owners to really expedite putting the past losing behind you, and really why this organization right now seems to have such a bright outlook starting off camp?
I can address that. I mean, our fans have been unbelievably supportive, which is, Cleveland is just the greatest town to be in if you're a football organization and you have great, loyal fans. And I really believe that there's a lot of energy. It's a really great team that's been assembled, and we really haven't thought about the past. We've been looking towards the future. So it's pretty easy because the excitement we have here and the players we have here and the coaching staff, we're really excited.
Some owners have come out about Anthem policies and said they will not discipline their players if they make a statement. Others have said they have to stand. What is the Browns' position on that from you guys?
Yeah, the league and the Players Association are working to come up with a, quote, win-win solution. And I think there's cautious optimism on both sides that that'll happen. So till that happens, I don't think we have any comment. I will say this, and I know Dee will want to jump in here too, that we've learned a tremendous amount during this process. You all have heard us say this before, Pat, and have worked very closely with our players. Dee and I have always been involved in the communities we've been involved in a lot of different ways, but have become actively involved here in some issues that affected the players, and look forward to continue to work with our players to make Northeastern Ohio, and hell, for that matter, the U.S. a better place to live and work. So we're
Yeah.
going to focus on that for now.
Yeah, the players are really active in working on a plan for social justice reform in our area. They want to get out and be volunteers and really dive deep. We've hosted summits. We'll continue to work. I mean, we focus on what we're doing, the positive impact we're having, so that's really our focus, and we're excited about it.
Jim, you guys have been at the forefront of kind of changing the dialogue into a positive off of the controversy. But is there some regret, you think, from the owner's standpoint that there wasn't more dialogue with the players before that rule was enacted or tried to be?
Tom, I would say, I can't speak for the other owners. I think that if Dee and I had any regret, we actually talked to the players about this the other day, is that if you'll remember when all this came up, I think our players kneeled down against the Giants, which I think was our first exhibition game, if I remember right, and we had several players do it, and we should have, and Dee and I'll take the responsibility, right away gotten with our players. We waited a couple of weeks, and I think lesson learned for us, and I would argue for the country, if that doesn't sound embellished, is just sit down and talk it through. Once we sat down around the table, we realized we had a tremendous amount in common. We always respect our players. I think we came away with that from that meeting, Tom, with more respect than we've ever had, and hopefully they did the same, and they are all very comfortable interacting with us in the proper manner about these issues.
Jimmy, in May, though, the owners, when they, voted to impose this rule that now is being further discussed with NFLPA. The players weren't consulted in May, so do you wish that, have you suggested the other owners sit down and talk to your guys like we have?
Well, I really think they're making the proper steps now. I do think this conversation is going to be productive, and it's a good thing that's happened.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's cautious optimism that a quote win-win will be worked out, and we'll see what happens here over the next few weeks. In the meantime, there's so much attention called to this. I can tell you in our building, the guys in our building, whether it be players, coaches, Dee and myself, personnel people, our big concern is how we're going to do from 3 to 5 today, and how we're going to do from 3 to 5 tomorrow. There's very little, if any, conversation on that, and that's what we need to focus on.
Will you continue the neighborhood summits and that kind of stuff?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
We're excited about
Yeah.
that.
Jim, we ask you every year about quarterbacks, and you defer every year to the coaching staff, but of course we got to ask you about life with the #1 overall pick as a QB, and how the whole sensibility plays out in your mind relative to, well, it's a good problem to have if Tyrod Taylor is so good that he delays Baker Mayfield's appearance on the field.
Yeah, I give John and Hugh credit. I mean, the first thing John did, one of the first things he did, and it mirrors what he did at Kansas City, went out and got a veteran quarterback. And I think you all see this because you're around a lot and you interact, but we're here in the building a lot, and there's no harder worker on our team than Tyrod Taylor. And I knew we were getting a good football player. I didn't understand what a great person we're getting, and he alone has set a different tone. And you all are at practice, and I don't want to jinx us, I'll knock on wood, but, we're not jumping off sides. We get lined up. We're not throwing interceptions. And so to have him on the team, I think you have a chance every game. And, everybody knows we were 32nd in offensive turnovers last year, and Tyrod's record in that area has been really good. He's a really good athlete. He's a really good person. So having him in the building helps us tremendously, and I think it takes the pressure off Baker and allows Baker to develop. And the two of them, I think, have the right relationship. They're both competitors and winners, but they both help each other and work together. So we're really excited about the two of them. And Drew Stanton's a guy who's won games in this league. He's helping the both of them, if you watch how they talk in the huddle and everything. So we have 3 quarterbacks, 2 who have won games in the pros. This time last year we had when we started the season, we didn't have one guy on the roster who'd won a game in the pros at quarterback. We have 2 that have won games at quarterback in the pros, and we've got 1 that won a hell of a lot of games in college football. So
Jimmy,
we feel good about where we are.
Jimmy and Dee, you know, you brought back here with 1 win in 2 years. So what, there's been a roster makeover. What could people realistically expect this season?
You want to take that, Dave?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think
Say 2.
I think you can realistically expect progress. I mean, we that's what we feel like we've already made a lot of progress, and we realistically feel like we're going to have progress this year. So that's what we're excited
How
about.
would that be defined?
That's hard to define right now. Progress is we're going to see I think we're going to see a lot of progress among our players. I really do.
They've both been very loyal to Hugh Jackson. So now they've had some talent. What can you, not talking about number of victories, but what do you expect to see from Hugh now that he actually has some players to work with?
I think we'll see the real Hugh Jackson because he's got good quarterbacks. He's got some skilled players. He's got a veteran offensive line now. We've got to figure out left tackle, 3 really good backs, and good defense. I think you've heard me say this several times. You've got to give Hugh credit for bringing in Todd Haley, which I think will allow Hugh to be the head coach. So I think this will be the first opportunity Hugh's had the opportunity to do what we know he can do as a head coach, as a leader. And even though Todd's calling all the shots on offense, I think Hugh will obviously have some impact there like he will defense. So we're excited to see it.
So
Is there any kind of leash on Hugh Jackson, short leash, long leash, or does he end the year?
No, we're excited about Hugh Jackson. I think our commitment to him has been unwavering. It still is. So,
Given what you said, you kind of view this as his first year or his 3rd year?
that's a good question. In some ways, Tony, that's a fair question. I think you could say this in some ways because of the talent he's had, particularly at quarterback, particularly last year. You could view that as his first year, but we don't look at that. I mean, I know everybody's saying, well, Hugh has to win this many games or Hugh has to win that many games. We don't look at it. I mean, we're really excited about the relationship that Hugh and John have, and not just that they have, but their staffs have, how the building's working together. I mean, we were in here at 7 this morning talking about who else we might need to add to the roster. So we feel good about the chemistry, good about the work ethic, but at the same time, we all understand at the end of the game, you got to win games.
Can you quantify how different the football operation is with a veteran guy like John who's come in and kind of remade the roster and the personnel staff? How different it feels to you than the last couple of years?
I mean, everybody has different styles, and we would never say anything about anybody who's not here anymore. You guys know that. I just think we're comfortable with the direction John's taking the team in, but we're not there yet, and John knows that, and Dee and I know that, et cetera. But I want to go back to what was said. I guess the question came out of Des Bryant. They're working hard every day to make us a better team, and we will look at any and everybody within reason to try to help us get better. And whether it's somebody to be the 53rd player or the 8th player, we're going to take a look at them. And I give this staff tremendous credit for doing that. I mean, they are working out people every day, looking at people all the time, and that's what you got to do to get better.
Were you guys in the process of talking about downtown development, potential stadium, and who are you talking with?
Yeah, we're continuing that process. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of action in the last month or so, but I think in the next few weeks we have some conversations with downtown leaders on kind of the bridge that's connecting the city to the waterfront. I think that's the first issue we're trying to address, the bridge that everybody's talking about. So that's where our focus is right now, and then we'll continue to work with the leadership, find out what the vision for the community is, and be very transparent about it. So if we know something, we'll let you guys know.
What is your ultimate goal when it comes to the stadium? Would you like to, I know you got about 10 more years left on that particular lease. You just had a renovation a couple of years ago. Are you looking to stay there long term and just kind of keep it modernized, or is a new stadium something
I think it makes sense to stay there, but it really does depend on what the community wants. If they want to open the waterfront, they don't want the stadium there, then we have to come up with another solution. I think they do want it there. It's just a matter of connecting this downtown to the waterfront. I think is really important. So that's what everybody's focused on.
Dee, what's the status of the 2020 draft? What's the next checkpoint in that?
We haven't heard anything. I think we have a meeting again. I think we have a meeting in the next few weeks about that. So we haven't heard any updates on that.
Jimmy and Dee, you guys the last year, 2 years, won one game. Were you worried what this was doing to the fan base and everything else? Clearly there's a different direction on it. type of players it will sound.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you always worry about your fan base. I mean, that's one of the things we talk about a lot is taking care of our fans. So I think you worry about your fan base, but this is an unbelievably loyal fan base. I mean, the Browns fans are just incredible. I mean, we're just kind of overwhelmed with how enthusiastic and loyal they are as a group of people.
But I mean, they got kind of beat up through this, I guess is the point, just like you mentioned.
Yeah, that has not been fun for them or us.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Terry? I'm sorry.
I mean, basically, when you have a fan base that watches your team win one game in 2 years, something's got to change kind of quickly. And how much did that play into what you did in the offseason?
Well, listen, we're not going to do anything that's going to be a one-year flash in the pan, Terry. But at the same time, we feel pressure to win. We feel the responsibility that we haven't won before. We feel the fans' pain too. We feel your pain, and our fans deserve better. And hopefully, starting this year, they're going to get it.
Steve, directing this question to you because of some of your committee involvement, but Adam Pac-Man Jones was in here yesterday for a workout, and he obviously has a long list of arrests and different off-the-field incidents and transgressions. So my question to you is, when the Browns are thinking about signing a player like this, what is your involvement, you and Jimmy, in terms of the kind of person that you want to bring in, and does Hugh ask John if they ask for your input on this? How does this go?
Well, the personnel group sits down. They try to get they're trying to build the best team possible. So they spend a lot of time on that, and I'm sure they'll ask our opinion or let us weigh in on it. But we really do let the personnel group and the coaching staff come together and make these decisions. I think that's really important for them to do that.
Have you ever had a chance, without naming a name, where you've said, no, this guy is off the table because what he's done would embarrass us and what we stand for?
I have not.
Jimmy?
I don't think so. I don't want to say unequivocally. I'm not dodging the question, Pat, but I don't think we have.
Would you ever do that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But our group's sensitive. That they've been around. That they're going to know. Hey, we better check with this, and I think they do it up front. So.
I have one
here.
question.
Oh, it's good.
2 parts.
It's 7 parts.
2 topics. The first one is, in the past, Jimmy, I recall you saying that Hard Knocks you thought could be hard on a coaching staff. So, considering the last 2 years, why, did you feel hard? This was a good time for Hard Knocks. And then the second topic I wanted to ask you guys about is why you guys promoted JW to the position he's in and what he's going to be doing for the organization.
You want to take one of those, Dick?
Yeah, I mean, the Hard Knocks question, everybody has to take a turn, so we knew we'd have to take a turn at some time, and felt like it was probably our time to do it. It's a very professional group of people that are here. I mean, they're very impressive. We hardly see them or pay attention to them. I know they're doing their job, but now that they're here, we're kind of excited about it and think it'd be good for Cleveland. So, that is a good point. I think it'd be very good for Cleveland.
Yeah, I think the other thing is we would not have done it if Hugh was not comfortable with it. Yeah. If Hugh had said, no, I don't want to do it, wouldn't do it. He had that experience in Cincinnati. He was comfortable with it. So we're moving forward. So far it's been zero distraction, and that's our main focus. It doesn't distract the team from getting ready for the season because that's what we're all focused on. In terms of JW, and D might want to add something. JW's background is in TV production, sports production. He has his own production company in Nashville, so he's a natural to come in and work with our production people in marketing and sales. And we're excited to have he and Whitney and their 3 kids here. And a lot of NFL franchises, if you'll notice, are family businesses. Dee and I both come out of family businesses, so he will be here 100% of the time. We're here a lot of the time, but not all the time, as you all know. So we think it's a real positive for the organization, and both professionally and obviously personally as grandparents, we're glad to have Ian Whitney here.
Yeah.
Two of the 3 will be at practice today. So.
That's right. That may be good or not.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it.